What's up, guys? It's JZNES back again with another video. Today we're talking about Mario 3D World or Worlds, because the tail looks like an S. I don't know which it is, honestly, but as you may be able to see, I don't actually have the guide for this one, so I had to kind of going at it on my own. But I did a pretty good job of kind of finding everything for myself, for the most part. I kind of stopped, like, completing the game, like being a completionist about it around World 6. Just because shit kind of got ridiculous at that point, in terms of completionisting. But I did my best to do a completionist. I would get all the stars that I could, and then if one was just, like, super ridiculous and I just wanted to kind of beat the level, I would do that. So, yeah, Mario 3D World, the sequel to Mario 3D Land, a game that, if you remember, I liked a lot, on the 3DS there. And this is a game that was well and hated between our friend group for years and years and years. Mario 3D World was, but hindsight's a funny thing, when you go back and you look at an old game, like, I mean, it's like, what, 2012 or something, right? 2013 maybe? I don't know. When the fuck this game come out? 2013. But when you look at a 7-year-old game, let's say, that was meant to save a dying console. I don't know if it was dying yet, but a console that wasn't doing so hot, it was meant to save that. It was meant to be the next Mario Galaxy of sorts, and that just didn't happen, and it just wasn't in the cards for that to be. Instead, what we got was a sort of just a really fun game that was like expected to carry all this weight on top of it. People had these unreal expectations for it, and rightfully so, I suppose. I mean, Mario Galaxy 1 was amazing. Everyone loved Mario Galaxy 2 for some reason, and then Mario Galaxy, not Mario Galaxy, Mario 3D Land was a fantastic game. I don't even know if that game was as beloved as I, have love that I have for it. But, it definitely deserved it. But, to be fair, then everyone was thinking, oh wow, they've taken Mario 3D Land and put it onto a console. And, what's the last console Mario? It would have been Mario Galaxy 2, right? So there's just some really big shoes to fill, and I think a lot of people just didn't really get what they bargained for with it. But this game didn't sit right with me for years and years for some reason. I remember playing it once or twice and thinking there's nothing really too special about this. But again, I didn't have the context of the games that came before and the context of the games that came after. Now, what people were kind of expecting was something like Mario Odyssey to come in and sweep the floor, brand new Mario to blow our socks off or whatever, which we didn't get, and we didn't actually get until the next console, the Switch, which, was a long way off. I mean, that was, when does Mario Galaxy come out? It was like 2017 or 18 or something. That was like, shit, like 5 or 6 years later, of 2013. So it would have been 4 or 5 years later. I don't remember when Mario Galaxy came out, sorry. So yeah, I mean, like, people just were expecting so much of this game, and they wanted it to be so much. And it really just couldn't live up to those expectations. And especially for myself as well. I wasn't always the biggest Mario fan. I hadn't even played a 3D Mario, I don't think. I mean, I played a little bit of, like, 64 and Sunshine and stuff, like, or watched my friends play it and stuff. But, I hadn't even played a 3D Mario, I don't believe, around the time. Well, I think I may have played 64 at that point, but I was very new to the 3D Mario experience at this point when this game was out, and what I was judging it against, kind of, and, as I've said before, I wasn't even really that big of a fan of Super Mario 64, so to me, this game was just another pointless 3D Mario game that didn't have any of the soul of the originals and all this and that and blah 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 blah. And like I said, hindsight just kind of clouds, unclouds things, because now that we have Mario Odyssey, now that everyone has that, I mean, this game was received really well. It's just me and my friends didn't like it for some reason. Um, but now that we have Mario Odyssey, I can look at a game like this that's just kind of a midpoint and just a fun entry into the series, and not have so much pressure put onto it. I literally had not any expectations going in. You've heard me bash on this game in my other videos, I'm sure, as the one I was looking forward to least going into. But I was like really pleasantly surprised with this one. I don't think it's as good as Mario 3D Land or Mario Galaxy for that matter, but like out of the 3D Mario games, it's a close third. I mean, shit, if we count Land and Galaxy, and then yeah, I can't say 64, Sunshine, or Galaxy 2 compare so far. So this is definitely my third favorite of the 3D Mario games so far. Which is pretty crazy, you know, like I just really wasn't expecting to like it that much. But I was having a good time with it. I had a fun experience with this game, which is surprising to me, as I've said. But yeah, it's just like, it's just kind of shocking. And now that I've played 3D Land, I have a context for kind of what they were trying to do with this game. So, some things I like about the game is the fact that, well, if you look at the roster, so you have not only Mario, like you had in Mario 3D Land, but you also have the other main roster this time of characters that were kind of all in this new Super Mario Brothers series, but really the roster is a reference and a callback, of course, to Super Mario Brothers 2 on the NES. You have Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad, and they all sort of play in a very similar way to how they played in Mario 2. Peach has the floating thing. Toad, you know, what is Toad's thing? I don't remember what Toad's thing was, but Luigi has this little jump thing. I know he always kind of had that, but, you know. So yeah, just like it plays very, it's obviously kind of a callback to that. And returning from Mario 3D Land, we have all kind of the power-ups, like the Tanuki suit and the boomerang, which was a good power-up from that game, the boomerang suit. I don't remember if you got the Hammer Brothers suit in 3D Land or not, but that wasn't in here as far as I could tell on the first set of worlds, because I'm sure there's more worlds. I know they were kind of setting up to that in the post-credit scene there or whatever. And I know from just experience that there's like a whole set of other worlds where you like unlock Rosalina and stuff from Mario Galaxy. But yeah, I'm not, you know, I'm like, much like 3D Land, I'd be interested in maybe going back and doing those someday. I just know those levels are super hard, and I've got other games to play, you know, kind of thing. So I'm glad they're there for people, you know, so you get you get a big amount of content there. There's 380 stars altogether, which is just fucking insane. Like, that's a lot of stars. I got 170, like almost 180. I think it was like 178 or something of them. You only need 130 to get into the final Bowser castle, so that's pretty cool. It's like, there's no story here or whatever. That's like, you know, most of the Mario games don't have like a really that grand of a story or anything. But what I thought was cool was the fact that you basically, like, when you get to World 7, you know, most Mario games have 8 worlds, so I'm like thinking like, okay, I get to World 7 and it's like a castle as the icon, and I'm like, oh shit, like, is this final world? Are we just like subverting expectations here? And I'm like, they'll probably pull something like they did in Mario 3D Land, where there's like kind of a extra little set of levels, you know, like a half world after or whatever. But no, there was like still a full-blown world 8 like afterwards. So like when I got to the final boss, it was like it was just another car Bowser section, which is, I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of underwhelming, right? Nope, lo and behold, it's a whole different section of the final boss. It's like you get to climb up this tower, and Bowser gets a cat suit too. That's a new thing in this game, is a cat suit. I'll talk about that in a second. But it's kind of reminiscent of Donkey Kong, actually, if you kind of think of it like that. which is funny because they kind of made a Donkey Kong reference in Mario 3D Land as well, where he's throwing the barrels or whatever. I thought that was cool. But so yeah, I don't know. It was an alright final boss. Like it used the cat suit in a, that was cool. So there's cat suit in this game. It's all over the cover and the marketing and all that. I just noticed that all the characters are up here and then they're down here with their cat suits, which is kind of odd. But anyway, cat suit's a new thing. It just lets you climb on walls. It's like an okay power up. It definitely like gets you thinking, and like you only have so much climbing length or whatever where you can climb up so far or whatnot, and then you'll fall. But so that's cool. I mean, it's a cool new power up, I would say. I don't think they ever really brought it back for anything, but it was cool enough in this game. It got me thinking in different ways, and they definitely utilized it with all the little challenges and whatnot. The structure is really similar to Mario 3D Land, where you get 3 green stars, and this time they have stamps in each level, so that's like a 4th collectible. These stamps were used initially like on this Miiverse thing that like doesn't exist anymore, so they're just for collectors' sake at this point. But I got most of the stamps and most of the stars. I got all of the stars until like the end of World 5 or something, and then I just kind of gave up on getting some of the later ones in that world because they were just getting kind of ridiculous, and I'm just like, I'm okay. I just want to like go through and play the game and have a fun time. I don't want my experience to be ruined by me sitting here for hours and hours trying to get these stars when I know I already completed the first 4 worlds, fully, and like most of the 5th world, so I probably am gonna have enough stars if I just keep collecting stars, along the way and whatnot. There's a lot of really challenging bits. It starts off pretty easy, and it gets progressively more challenging, but the game's not like super hard or anything. I would say Mario 3D Land was probably a little bit harder at times, but there were definitely some like weird and interesting challenges and stuff, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so there's stamps. That's another collectible. That's, it is what it is. It's just another thing. You can't really use them for much anymore, so kind of a moot point at this point. But I do like the music a lot. I think that kind of stands out. The main theme is the one that I remember more so than the Mario 3D Land theme, which is a little bit disappointing because that game does have a lot of great songs. I'd have to compare and contrast, but I definitely know that I like the main theme of this game better. It's just more catchy, and I really just appreciate it more. But I'm not going to say like the soundtrack is definitively better, but it might be the one thing that the game has above Mario 3D Land, with the addition of Mario 3D World has 4-player cooperative play, which kind of sounds gimmicky and stupid at first, but honestly it's pretty cool as far as I can tell, because I only did one level with a friend once, and it's cool because there's certain areas in the game where they give you these cherries that'll multiply your character, but if you have 4 players, you can just basically be the equivalent of that, and you'll still get the cherries, so you'll still have more chances at, because there's these switches in these levels that like unlock the stars and little extras and stuff, or like stamps, or whatever. It'll unlock stuff in the level. It'll get you to a higher platform where something is hidden, type of thing. So that's pretty cool that that they have that in there. But so they've built some levels around this. So obviously, if you're just playing one player, you can't just do that level like that and like hit that switch and everything, which is interesting. So they give you these cherries. So it's difficult because these cherries, every time one of those characters gets hit, and they're like walking around whatever distance away from you they are. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like, so if they get hit, they're gone. So you have to like kind of get through these levels perfectly to get to the end sometimes, to like put 4 of yourself on a switch to get like a certain star and stuff. So it's a pretty challenging thing if you're just playing one player. If you're playing 4 players, I'm sure that would be a lot easier, but I didn't really get the opportunity to do that. But that does bring up the fact that this is probably a really fun game to play as a multiplayer game. But maybe not. Maybe that's actually the game's downfall, because when I and myself and Mayab were playing it back in the day when he had a Wii U and I didn't yet, because I didn't get a Wii U till 2016 or 2017 actually, was whenever Breath of the Wild came out. Is that 2017? I think so. Anyway, which is funny. So yeah, but when we were playing it back in the day, the multiplayer I think was making it too easy or something, and we just like weren't getting anything out of it because of that. So I don't know if it's just better as a single player experience or not, or maybe it's better experience multiplayer. I say nowadays it's better, like it'd be more fun to play it through with somebody, but you know, it's just like when am I gonna get the opportunity to do that, right? You know, like I only get to see my friends so often every week, so I wouldn't waste time playing this with them, even though it's like a 10-hour game. It's not like that long, but like you got so many other games to play and get through, you know. Um, so like, you know, but you know, if you're looking for a game to play with your friends, like, hey, this could be a good one, you know. If you're just looking to have some mindless kind of fun, not mindless, but like, you know, just like pretty easy fun, I guess. You know, there are some challenging parts, but I'm sure some of it would be made easier with multiple players or whatnot. Other than that, there's like these segments where there's like this new dinosaur or whatever that like, it's kind of like these slide levels. You heard the slide level theme there a minute ago, you know, from Mario 64. I still prefer the one from Mario Galaxy 2 or 1 or whichever, both of those I think had the slide level theme. I think it was 2 actually, where it was like kind of surprising. Maybe that was 1. I don't know. It's been a minute since I played those, even though I played those both earlier this year, right? Or was Galaxy 1 last year? I think Galaxy 1 was last year. Yeah. So it might have been from Galaxy 2. Anyway, but there's this new dinosaur, and so they have some like slide levels with the dinosaur. It's like a really big dinosaur. It's not even Yoshi. Yoshi's not even in the game as far as I can tell, which is interesting. But so yeah, those are some cool levels. They're not like anything special, but they're pretty cool still. Um, Other than that, like, there's really not a lot to say about the game. It's just a fun game, and it takes a lot of good elements for Mario 3D Land on the 3DS there, and just not even expands upon them, just puts them into a console game so you can do more with them. But a lot of the levels still feel like levels that were from the 3DS game, you know, like I think what's cool about Mario 3D Land is that it was really impressive for its system. I'm just kind of blown away still about what they could do on the 3DS. You know, that's a portable game, and I'm like sitting here comparing it to like a GameCube game almost. Like it's pretty nuts what they were doing with that, and then it's got the 3D is really good and all of that. I don't imagine the gimmick here. It's not really like a 3D or any of that. I guess the 4-player is kind of the new gimmick or whatever. They also have these treasure tracker, you know, Captain Toad or whatever levels where you can't jump and you just kind of have to figure out how you weave yourself through the level and do little puzzles and whatnot to get through. And you got to use the gamepad for that, which is, you know, kind of cool. They're all right. The cool, you know, that kind of whole own game on Switch or whatever. Was that on Switch? They ported it to Switch. It was on. Was it on the Wii U? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was on the Wii U. Didn't they port it to Switch? I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah. Anyway, but the annoying thing is most of the time I'm using the Pro controller, which by the way I don't really like quite as much as this, because like I know this is just like a glorified Xbox controller, but this is just such a great controller. This is like pretty good, but like I don't know, it's just kind of odd with the sticks and all that, I guess. I don't know. This is just way more comfortable. Like this is kind of big and it's good though. It's a good controller, the Pro controller and the Wii U. But anyway, I played all Breath of the Wild with that thing. So anyway, so the gamepad here, you often have to switch on the main menu from this to this, so you can do some of the treasure tracker levels and that kind of stuff. And there's certain levels where you just kind of need the gamepad for whatever reason. So it's kind of annoying that they like force you to switch over or whatnot, but it is what it is. It's fine. I'm not too, you know, beat up about that, but it just kind of was a little thing that kind of irked me a little bit. That we, you know, you have to like go into the menu and switch over and blah 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 and this and that. And other than that, like the gameplay, the gamepad wasn't really used for a whole lot. It literally kind of just reflects whatever's on the screen. So you know, like whatever. There's some sections and some levels where you like have to touch a thing to raise platforms and this and that. So you know, a little gimmicky stuff. Like it wasn't utilized super well. It just felt more like I guess the gimmick of it is the fact that like you can play it on here, so it's almost like a 3DS experience or whatever, which is funny because that's like proto Switch mentality, you know. I mean, funny thing about this game is that like it's like the last Switch game to not have been ported yet, and people have been saying for years and years that it was finally going to get ported to the Switch, and I still don't think it has been announced or whatever to be coming to Switch. So this is kind of the last game, along with the Zelda remakes or whatever, the HD versions of Zelda there, that are left over on the Wii U to be ported over to Switch. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, other than that, like, there's not a whole lot to say about the game. It's a good game, and I had an enjoyable time with it, and I was really pleasantly surprised by it. Just kind of remembering that I hated it or whatever back in the day, it really kind of surprised me that it was actually a pretty fun game, you know, overall. So, yeah, and it had a, you know, good soundtrack, and the four characters were a cool callback to Super Mario 2. You have the new cat suit, which is pretty cool. And a lot of the gameplay was really similar to 3D Land, so that's always good for me. I don't think it's quite as innovative, or, you know, it didn't blow me away quite as much as 3D Land. It felt like more of the same, but it felt like they tried more here, more so than like when they made Galaxy 2 or whatever, which I kind of feel was just like a lazy, like, you know, let's do some more levels or whatever. This feels like more levels of 3D Land, but also they're bigger, and they've expanded upon them more, and they just feel more fleshed out, and they feel more well done than I would say Galaxy 2. So I just think that I feel like they actually kind of tried here, which is nice, you know? What is this theme? This is a good one. Oh, this is the cherry. Yeah, right. Yeah, there's just a lot of cool levels and stuff here in this game. So, I don't know. It's a good game. I'm going to give it... what should I give it? I'm going to give it an 8.1 out of 10. Because, you know, out of 10. Haha. But 8.1 because I want it to be just a little bit better than Mario Galaxy 2. So, just to throw that in the face, I'm going to give it an 8.1. I've given so many games an 8 this year, but it's like I played so many fucking games this year that are all just like pretty good games, and I just like the 8's the right score, you know? I might have dropped Mass Effect down a few points just because, like, I don't know if it deserves to be like at an 8 or whatever. I like 7.7 for Final Fantasy 7 though. That's pretty good. I like that rating. So it's kind of perfect there. But you know, a lot of these games I've played this year have been just really good. But you know, I just yeah, it's a good game. It's fun. You should play it. That's all there is to say about it. There's really not a lot. It's not like a lot of like getting in depth about it or whatever. You know, it's a fun 4-player game. If you get some friends together, I'm sure it'll be a great time. If you still got a fucking Wii U sitting around or whatever, and you don't have Nintendo Land for some reason, which is probably the infinitely better fun game to be playing with all the mini games and whatever. You know, the Animal Crossing game and fucking... what is it? The Luigi's Mansion game is a lot of fun, and the Zelda game on there is pretty good, and all really fun games on Nintendo Land there. Maybe I should review that sometime, because me and my friends really love that game. But anyway, this isn't a review of Nintendo Land. this isn't a review of Nintendo Land. This is what it's like to live with somebody who plays Nintendo Land. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so, but I guess that game hasn't also made it to Switch, but there's not really a good way to port it over or whatever. So, but anyway, Mario 3D World, surprisingly pretty decent game. I would say it's good. You know, I would play it. I would recommend it if you have a Wii U. If you remember it being shitty, maybe go back and give it another shot. You know, it shouldn't take you too long. It's like a 10-hour game, so if anything, you can just mark it off the bucket list of games that you wanted to play or didn't want to play or whatever. You just boost that rating of games, of how many games you've beaten in your life or whatever. You know, me, it's like 307 or 8 or 9 or something like that now. I don't know. I should keep better track. I gotta count them again. But anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. This has been JZNES saying, keep it classic, stick around for more reviews, underrated games, and I'll see you guys in the next one. JZ